Mate, what have you been up to? I've been working on my boat. Ripper, speedboat. I wouldn't say it was fast. Fishing boat? Well, I mean, I am thinking of putting sonar on it. So it's a tinny then? Well, no, it's a 3D printed radio controlled utility boat. It's actually pretty neat. The other day, I was installing a Ubec to provide 12-volt power to the sample pump. I didn't realise that I needed a common earth to share with one of the receiver-controlled switches. It took me about an hour to pull that wiring out and start all over again. It was a real pain in the neck. But then, after that, I had to install another switch. G'day, it's Alistair here, and I have been pretty busy as I continue to build my 3D printed RC utility boat. In part one of this video series, we looked at the hull and propulsion systems, essentially getting the boat to go. In part two of this video series, we are going to be looking at a water sampling system that can collect samples remotely for water quality analysis. But first, a few things have changed since the last video. I needed somewhere to mount the sampling equipment, so I built a 3D printed deck that mounts to the hull cross braces. I printed a cowl to provide some protection for the deck and redesigned the old motor mount to improve the boat's stance in the water. It turned out that the old motor mount was being held together by only the carbon tube reinforcement. I strengthened the new mount by changing the print orientation. I also added fins to the hull to improve the boat's tracking. When I came up with the concept for this boat, I had one very clear objective for the water sampling system, and that was that it had to be able to take multiple water samples on the one mission. This would save time in returning the boat to shore and swapping out water sample bottles. Now, the simplest mechanism for this is a carousel type sampler, and that's what I opted for in this build. The original design for the boat included pathways for wiring that ran through the cross braces and into the hull. When it came to doing the wiring for the sampling system, I realised that I had grossly underestimated the sheer volume of wiring that was included, meaning that there wasn't enough room to pass all the wires through the cross bracing and into the hull. The choke point being in these parts that join the carbon tube to the hull. To get around that, I had to pass some wires directly through the hull, and up the front I had to bypass the tube mounts and go straight into the crossbars from within the hull. It's not quite as tidy as I would have liked, but it does the job. The sampling system is made up of 4 modules. The pump controller module, the pump module, the carousel controller module, and the carousel module. The schematics and code are available on my website, link in the description. Now that I have finally assembled and wired everything up, it is time to bench test the water sample system. I have the system hooked up to 2 switches on my transmitter. So if I want to move the carousel, I have it on one of the auxiliary switches. And if I want to start the pump, I have it on another auxiliary switch. Now, obviously there's no water in the system at the moment, but if we put an empty bottle into the carousel, we'll be able to switch the pumper on, and we can move that through past the pump and it will not stop or affect the pump. If we do the same thing and put in a bottle with water in it, turn the pump on, spin the carousel around, it should stop the pump, but it hasn't. Okay, that's better. First indications are that the water sampling system might work, but I've never actually run water through it. So I'm going to throw together a bit of a temporary setup so that we can get some water flowing through here and see if it works. Okay, so it's working. The bottle with the pink ring is the purge bottle. Essentially, it's bottomless and any water passes through it and down a slippery slide back into the waterway the boat is on. Okay, so the purge system works. It's actually not making too much of a mess. So we'll move on to the next bottle. And the sensor has turned the pump off, excellent. And so we can move on to the next bottle. Worked again, a little bit of variability in the heights there, I'm not sure what that's about. Might be some error in that sensor, I'm not sure. We'll get a better idea as we keep going. It took me a little bit longer than I would have liked to get the water sampling system up and running, but now that it is, I'm keen to get this boat back out on open water. So for the next part in this video series, I'm going to be taking the boat out to a local waterway, collecting some water samples, sending them off for professional water quality analysis and sharing the results with you. So join me for that video coming very shortly. Thanks for watching.